What is up, everybody? It's Tactical Pineapple, and once again, we're out riding like a motherfucker. I got some shit to talk about today, boys and girls, y'all been asking for, and I guess today is the day I finally deliver on some of it. If you are not familiar with biker etiquette, today we are going to talk a little bit about how you handle being around bikers, specifically how you handle being around anybody who may be wearing a cut, a flag, their vest, their colors, whatever you want to call it, it all means the same thing to the club. It means respect. It means they earned it. We're going to do our little thing here, and then we will see you back on the other side. All right, so you all know what I'm talking about when I say somebody wears a cut, right? I think pretty much mainstream has put it out there now. Shows like Sons of Anarchy, people enjoyed those shows. Hell, I enjoyed the show. It is a false depiction of the majority of motorcycle clubs, though. It does not bear reality very well, and for the most part, let's just be completely honest. Um, Everybody that show portrayed that Jax Teller was a hero slash anti-hero. No, he was a psychotic fucking murderer. I believe through the course of that entire series, he killed something like 64 individuals. Uh, that is not somebody who's innocently pulled into a life of crime. That is somebody who enjoys doing what they do. So, not a real depiction of motorcycle clubs in general. And what you're going to find is the majority of people who aren't actually in motorcycle clubs and who actually ride, they, number one, haven't either even watched the show, or number two, completely fucking hate it. I'm able to enjoy it as entertainment, but it is kind of like, oh shit, that's fucking retarded. I can't believe they just did that. All right, so we're gonna say enough with the fictitious stuff, because the reality is there's very few things that were portrayed in that television show that are even close to reality. But I will pick out one, the first one, the obvious one, the one that honestly was most likely portrayed in the best possible sense. Um, Rule number one: if you are not a member of a motorcycle club, if you do not own a motorcycle, you probably don't understand this, but you do not sit on another man's motorcycle. I don't give a shit if you're just admiring it. You do not sit on another man's motorcycle. That is the equivalent to fucking another man's wife. The reality is, and some individuals may not think it's that bad, but I promise you this: if you sit on my motorcycle and I catch you sitting on my motorcycle, my assumption is there's a theft underway, and I am going to protect my property with all the force I have available. And for most of you who understand and know who I am, you understand and know what kind of force is coming for you. So just do not sit on another man's fucking motorcycle. Plain and simple. All right, so now that we've covered that first and most important piece of information, once you actually are in contact with a biker, don't be a dickhead, guys. Like, everybody gets all fucking worked up. Whoa, I gotta act tough, or I gotta do this or that. Don't get wrapped up in all the etiquette. There are a lot of videos out here on the YouTube that tell you, don't do this, don't do that, don't. Well, it's a long, extensive list of a lot of things that you shouldn't do. What this does, in my personal opinion, is creates a barrier of personal, like, social, right? You don't want to be antisocial, number one. But with all the no's and don'ts out there, it's hard to figure out what you can and can't do. My general consensus is if you are going to talk to somebody who is in a motorcycle club, number one, be real. The best piece of advice anybody in any of those lists gives is be honest. Don't lie. Liars are found out, especially by people who are used to people lying to them. Motorcycle clubs, bikers, these people are used to people lying to them. They will find out you're lying to them, and this will become a problem. You're probably not going to get your ass beat for it, like some people say. You're just going to get fucking told to get bent and get gone. That's pretty much the deal. Another thing that you got to just understand is, the misconception among the general population of what a motorcyclist or a biker really is, or an MC is. So the general misconception is that everybody's a criminal, right? Don't assume that you're talking to a criminal simply because they're wearing a three-piece patch, or they have a 1%er diamond on their chest, or someplace on their bike, or whatever. Number one, if they have a 1%er patch on their vest, just understand there is a little bit higher consequence to fucking up some of the etiquette. But be honest, be real, like, they're just people, folks. They associate themselves with an organization and a club that believes themselves to be outside of the law. I'm not saying they aren't, but they typically associate themselves as that. Now, this does not mean that they are criminals. It's not. I even said it wrong when I said they believe themselves to be outside of the law. They're outside of society. So society's norms and society's generalizations of what people are supposed to do, that's what people are outside of. They're not necessarily criminals. And believing that these people are criminal organizations is horrible, right? Even the ones, like, say the Outlaws, the Banditos, the Hells Angels, and I'm not dropping names to get any clickbait here, but take those organizations, right? They are known federally to have members of their organization who are 100% against the law. They are a criminal organization according to most people's thoughts. Well, the reality is that less than 5% of all of the people who are members of those clubs ever commit a crime, right? This is a common misconception. But you take the 5% that have committed crimes, the 5% that live outside of the law, the 5% looking for the quick dollar, running the drugs, doing this, doing that, and the reality is that you can actually boil down pretty much anybody to that. I'm a mechanical engineer. There's probably 5% of mechanical engineers nationwide who are above or outside of the law that are committing crimes that are basically around the same, general area that these people did. But they get an entire bad rap because of it. So you got to look past that. Rule number 2, generally, when you're dealing with them, though, outside of just being social, the only second rule I would say is don't touch the cut. Don't touch the patches. Don't touch the flags. And then you're going to be just fine, right? So you're not disrespecting them by touching it. Just to even touch it means that you have earned the respect to basically do that. If you don't know the guy, you don't know the club, you don't know all the people, you have no right touching that cut. You have no right touching the colors. You have no right touching the patch. Just that. It's a plain and simple easy one, right, guys? So I'm trying to boil this down to easy. And number 3, don't be a fucking fed. I'm not saying you can't be an officer of the law or a federal agent and still have general good discourse with individuals with inside motorcycle clubs, but don't ask questions. Like, if you don't know them, you don't know them, and you have no right to ask these questions. You see the guy's name is fucking Pig Penis on his fucking vest, don't ask him how he got Pig Penis. If you're too dumb to figure out, he probably got it because his name is Big Penis or something, I don't know. Whatever. You just make assumptions. Don't believe that you have the ability to ask that question. The club gave him that nickname for a reason. That reason is undisclosed to you. You do not need to know. That is inside club information. If they want to tell you, great. But don't generally ask those questions. Don't ask how many members are in a club, type stuff like that. It sounds like you're a federal agent trying to build a case. Like, okay, there are 100 members to this club. There's these levels of organization. This person's nickname is this because of this. So we can assume this person, and this person's nickname is because of this. It's all bullshit, guys. Don't fucking fall for it. Don't ask those questions. Do ask questions about riding motorcycles. Yeah, been on any rides lately? Cool rides. Talk about their bikes. Talk about your bike. All that stuff is cool. Just be a generally good person. And you're going to be just fine. I don't remember if it's number 3 or number 4. I'm going to go number 4 because I did have one in there that was probably number 2 and didn't label it. Don't assume because a guy is holding a beer in his hand that he wants you to buy him a drink. Ask him first. Most riders nowadays especially are pretty cognizant of drunk driving, getting pulled over, especially if they got a patch on their back. They are already under the scrutiny of the law. For the most part, they are not out there to go get drunk, and there are a lot of circumstances that could be that's that person's last drink. Maybe you're dealing with somebody who's been through alcoholism. To get along in the club, they've got an empty can of beer that they fill up with water. You don't know the circumstances. You don't want to be the person that hands that person a bomb, basically. So before you buy anybody a drink just because you see them having a beer in their hand, do not assume that they want that drink from you. So always ask first. It's just generally good practice, and you wouldn't just buy a random guy a drink at the bar anyway. So be real about it. And then my fifth and final rule for dealing with anybody in a motorcycle club, in general, is if you're curious and it's not a question that's going to get you like docketed, ask. Don't interrupt anybody, but approach. For the most part, we are approachable individuals. Don't take our crass attitude or short tempers as a bad thing. Sometimes it's just who we are, what we do. We deal with a lot of people who think we're fucking scum of the earth, so you're going to have to bear with us on that a little bit. Generally, we're decent people. If we tell you, give us a second, we'll be with you. It's not us being disrespectful. We're saying, hey, I'm in the middle of something here. Why don't you walk away for a second? I'm going to finish this, and then I'll come find you and engage you in the conversation you want to have. I'm going to end this one for this time. We'll continue it in another episode. I am Tactical Pineapple. This has been Tactical Pineapple Rides. As always, keep it 2 wheels down, shiny side up, and carry your fucking pistols, folks. They're coming to get them.